The ocean usually clears my head, but that morning the air tasted wrong, like burnt ambition, mixed with cheap cologne and entitlement. I was standing on the sun-bleached deck of the North Star Sentinel, a 40-meter autonomous research yacht that cost more than most people's careers, and unlike them, actually worked. My company, Atlas Marine Labs, built it line by line, code by code, circuit by circuit. I wasn't just the founder, I was the kid who designed the nervous system of this floating brain. I'm 22, born in Oregon, raised on shipyards and broken laptops. People expect founders to look polished. I looked like someone who crawled out of a server rack. Faded navy coveralls, oil on my hands, beanie pulled low, hair tied back with a rubber band I found in my glove box. No suit, no watch, no performance, just work. I was running a diagnostic on the port thruster array. Telemetry showed a 0.4% response delay. That number means nothing to tourists. To me, it means lawsuits, insurance, audits, and 1,000 emails, starting with just circling back. I was kneeling by an access hatch tablet, balanced on my knee, when I heard heavy footsteps on the gangway. Then a voice, loud, smooth, soaked in money that had never earned itself. Wow, it smells like fuel and failure out here. I didn't look up. I already knew who it was. Chase Halden, 26, son of a venture capital heavyweight, minority shareholder in my company. Major liability in every room he entered. He bounced onto the deck, wearing sunglasses worth more than my first car, holding a drink that had no business existing before 9 in the morning. He stopped short when he saw me, not my face, my clothes. Hey, he snapped his fingers. You the cleaner or something? I finished the code, push green confirmation, blinked only, then did I. Stand, can I help you? Chase, he blinked, didn't register. Oh, you know my name, good, then listen, the cleaning crew should be gone by now. I've got investors coming. I need this deck perfect, and grab me a towel. This humidity is killing me. He tossed a dirty rag at my chest. It slid down and landed at my feet. I stared at it, then at him. Get off the boat, he laughed. Cleaners, only a woman stepped on behind him, blonde, laughing like a background soundtrack. Excuse me, I said calmly. You heard me. He stepped closer, breath reeking of champagne. Finish the bathrooms or whatever and disappear. The adults are talking. This is a premium asset, not a janitor break room. Something clicked in my head. Not anger, not embarrassment, opportunity. He didn't know. That was the moment I realized it. He had no idea who I was, no idea. I owned the vessel, no idea. I controlled every system keeping it alive to him. I was just labor in coveralls. I could have ended it right there. Pulled titles, contracts, bank access. Called his father. Done, but fast endings teach nothing. I bent down, picked up the rag, folded it neatly. Understood, I said. I'll finish my checks and be out of your way. Yeah, he said, already turning around. And don't touch the leather. I walked toward the gangway, tablet under my arm. As I passed the main console, I entered a command sequence, invisible to standard users, a shadow log. Every camera, every mic, every sensor, now reporting directly to me. I stepped onto the dock. Behind me, Chase laughed loudly. My dad practically owns this harbor. I stopped, looked back at the hull I designed. He thought he owned the boat. He thought he ran things. He didn't realize the person he just insulted was holding the remote. And that realization, that beautiful, dangerous realization, was where the real story began. Because when someone mistakes the architect for the help, they usually don't survive the blueprint. I didn't leave the marina angry. I left calculating. That's the difference between losing and winning in my world. I sat in my car, a plain gray sedan wedged between supercars whose owners thought horsepower equaled intelligence. I opened my laptop and pulled up the live interior feed. Chase was already spilling his drink on the Italian leather. He warned me not to touch poetic, To understand how deep he'd screwed up, you need context. 6 months earlier, his father, Richard Haldon, sat across from me in a glass conference room, overlooking Puget Sound. Old money eyes, sharp smile, tired. He wanted a flagship, something flashy to parade investors on, something that made his firm look like it understood the future. Specifically, he wanted something for Chase. He needs responsibility. Richard said something physical. Steel water engines keeps him out of trouble. You want my prototype? I asked. Not give lease marketing. Asset. Chase runs events. Looks important. You keep control. I paused. I knew Chase. I knew chaos when I smelled it. But Atlas needed the next funding round to expand autonomous logistics. So I negotiated. Title stays with me, insurance stays with me, system administration stays with Atlas. He gets surface access, only steering events, no route permissions. Richard waved it off. He just wants to host parties. We signed 80-page contract, page 72, paragraph 4, subsection C, owner override clause in case of misuse, safety violation, or reputational damage. Legal owner retains immediate total control, remotely or on site. Richard didn't read it. Chase definitely didn't. Back in the present, my speakers crackled. Chase, pacing the bridge, talking loud on speaker. That kid who built this thing is dead weight. Safety obsession is killing margins. We need flash. Vision, my favorite word said by people with no map. I'm pushing him out. Board loves me. Demo next week. New direction. I leaned back. So it wasn't just disrespected, was a takeover attempt. He was planning to use my vessel at my demo to convince my investors I was obsolete on my deck with my tech in front of my board. I could lock him out right now. Kill the lights, freeze the doors, blast, pull. Music till he cried. But that's emotional. I don't do emotional. I do systems. I opened a terminal, pulled up demo mode, the standard presentation preset. I didn't erase it. I added a condition. If user equals Chase, if location equals harbor, execute protocol. Dead water, no explosions, no drama, just physics. I filed it as a compliance update. Truthful, boring, legally bulletproof. Over the next 3 days, I became a ghost. Didn't step foot on the yacht, but I watched everything. Champagne crates, DJ cigars, high heels digging into teak. Every violation logged. Worse was the lying angel investors on board who built the interface he did, who streamlined the system he did. I was apparently a dinosaur. Or I wrote the core OS at 19 in a freezing warehouse, while he learned not to eat glue. Thursday night, my head engineer Marcus checked the patch. Live 0 latency, override mapped to your fob. PR fallout will be ugly, he warned. Letting a toddler steer is uglier. Friday came bright and innocent, the kind of day disasters love. I arrived late. Black turtle neck, dark jeans, invisible security let me through. For 5 minutes, Chase was on stage, wearing a captain's hat. Not ironic, just stupid. He saw me, smirked. Time to leave. Ships sailing. I stepped off onto the dock, watched the ropes drop. Engines roared, music blasted. He waved like a king. I waited, counted distance. Matters. Then I pressed the button, and the future he promised died quietly, because the most terrifying failure isn't a crash, it's silence. Silence hit the yacht like a slap. 1 second, it was music, engines, laughter, confidence. Next second, nothing, no bass, no hum, no vibration underfoot. A 40-meter machine doesn't stop like a car, it goes quiet first. And that quiet spreads from the engines to the lights, from the lights to the doors, from the doors to the faces on the flybridge. Chase slammed the throttles forward. Nothing pulled them back, nothing. He laughed at first, nervous. Like this was part of the show. All right, very funny. Who killed the music? But no one answered because the intercom was dead too. The sentinel drifted, not fast, not dangerous, just enough. Guests looked around, smiles cracking, phones rising. Is this a demo thing? Someone shouted on the bridge. The hired Captain Steve took over, hands moving fast, eyes scanning dead screens. I have no steering, no comms, rudder locked. Who has admin access? I do. Chase yelled, type it again. It's rejecting you. Steve said, user unauthorized. That phrase landed hard. User unauthorized. The boat rotated slowly broadside to the pier. Press camera caught the angle perfectly, a dead white monument floating nowhere from shore. I watched with my arms crossed, not smiling, not angry, observing. Heat crept in. AC down, glass salon turning into a greenhouse. Toil it stopped, champagne warming, luxury, panic setting in. Chase pulled out his phone, dialed. My pocket buzzed. I let it ring. He dialed again. Then he saw me. I was the only one on the dock, not filming, still watching. His face changed, confusion, then recognition, then fear. He pointed, screaming words I didn't need to hear. I raised my hand, held up the black fob. Understanding hit him like gravity. The cleaner, the dinosaur, the nobody was the owner. I tapped my phone and switched to harbor control. Frequency, voice steady, clear. This is Alex Vance, owner of the vessel. North Star, Sentinel declaring navigation, hazard sector 4, vessel remotely disabled due to unauthorized operation, requesting tug. Harbor control acknowledged. Tugs dispatched. The words unauthorized operation echoed across the marina loudspeakers. Guests heard it, investors heard it, press heard it. Chase slumped, just a guy in a hat. Now as tugboats approached, reporters turned, cameras swung. They wanted the story. I walked to the stage, picked up the live mic feedback, then silence. Ladies and gentlemen, apologies for the interruption. Cameras locked on. There seems to be confusion about leadership and direction. Today was meant to show the future, and it has. I connected my tablet to the display. Ghost logs filled the screen. Audio of him calling me, the help video of spilled drinks on control panels, screenshots of fake charts, messages plotting my removal. Gasps rippled. Engineering isn't vibes. I said the ocean doesn't care about confidence, it cares about competence. I gestured to the drifting yacht. I designed that vessel, I own it, and today it demonstrated a security feature: incompetence lockout. If an operator poses risk, the system protects itself. System worked perfectly. I looked straight into the cameras. To the board, currently overheating onboard. You have a choice: follow the man who forgot to check his access, or the one holding the keys. I held up the fob. I'll be in my office. I dropped the mic, walked away. By sunset, the video was everywhere. Incompetence lock out trending, think pieces exploding. Richard Haldon called, angry, controlled. You embarrassed the firm. Your son embarrassed himself, I said, and I saved the asset. Silence, then a sigh. Send the papers. Chase was escorted out later. Same guard. No sunglasses, no. Had I went home, the Sentinel cleaned systems, secure. Some lessons don't crash. They drift slow enough for everyone to watch. And the scariest part, he still thought this was about a boat. By Monday morning, Marina was quiet again. No banners, no cameras, no champagne-soaked optimism. The Sentinel sat at dock 12, hooked to shore power, looking calm, innocent, almost embarrassed, like it hadn't just humiliated a trust fund prince in front of the internet. I walked aboard alone. No crew, no entourage. The teak still smelled faintly of spilled alcohol and ego. I ran my hand along the rail. The boat responded the way it always did, perfectly. People think moments like that end stories. They don't, they start paperwork. The board meeting was scheduled for noon. Emergency session, hybrid, half in Seattle, half calling in from private jets, pretending bad signal. I wore the same black turtleneck, No power suit, no tie, let them underestimate consistency. Richard Haldon joined late, camera off, voice tight. We'll begin. He said I didn't wait for permission before we discuss leadership. I said let's talk liability. I shared my screen, contract clauses, security, logs, insurance, risk, exposure, unauthorized operation, safety violations, reputational damage. Every box checked. This isn't a coup. I said it's compliance. One of the new VC guys tried to interrupt. Young, aggressive, quick exit mind. You shut down a demo that cost a valuation. No, I corrected. I prevented a catastrophic failure on record, one that would have wiped us out legally. Silence. Then Sarah spoke, quiet, precise. The override clause was reviewed by outside counsel. Action was lawful, defensible, necessary. Another director cleared his throat, older, smart. Frankly, he said if this had gone wrong offshore, we'd be facing hearings, not headlines. Richard finally turned his camera on. He looked older than he had Friday. Where is Chase? He asked. Not employed here. I said we voted unanimous. Chase was out. Richard resigned as chairman, retained shares, no operational role. When the call ended, I didn't celebrate. I just closed my laptop. Winning isn't loud, it's quiet, like systems stabilizing. That afternoon, I walked through engineering. No applause, just nods. Marcus looked up from a console, coffee in hand. System held, he said. Of course it did. That night, I sat alone on Sentinel. Engines off, lights low, harbor calm. People kept messaging, calling me ruthless, legendary, cold. They were wrong. I didn't do it to humiliate him. I did it because systems without accountability fail. He thought power was inherited. I know power is maintained. The boat hummed softly. Servers cooling. Logs clean. Tomorrow we'd refocus, expand, build. But for one moment I allowed myself a smile, because the kid who called me the help learned the hardest rule in engineering: never insult the person who designed the failsafe. And the final lesson wasn't for him, it was for everyone watching. The internet moved faster than lawyers ever could. By Tuesday morning, the clip had been sliced, memed, subtitled, slowed down, remixed. My face, holding the fob, became a symbol, not because I wanted it to, because people recognized control when they saw it. Headlines called it a power play, a tech mutiny, a humiliation ritual. They missed the point. Inside Atlas Marine Labs, things were quieter than usual. No gossip, no celebrating, just work returning to its proper rhythm. I called an all-hands meeting. No stage, no lights, just the main engineering floor. I stood on a crate, didn't need a mic. We don't build toys. I said, we build systems that keep people alive. And that doesn't change because someone louder wants it to. No applause, just nods. That was enough. Then I did something unexpected. I promoted 3 engineers, quiet ones. The ones Chase never noticed. Competence should be visible, I said, even when it isn't loud across town. Chase was learning the opposite lesson. Sponsors dropped invites, vanished friends, stopped answering. Power borrowed evaporates fast. Richard tried once more. Private call, different tone. We can smooth this over, he said, for the sake of optics. Optics are what caused this, I replied. I kept the call short. The Sentinel underwent a full audit. Every system stress tested, every log reviewed. No failures, no anomalies. It had done exactly what it was designed to do. A week later, I stood on the same dock where it all started. Same salt, air, same water, different energy. I wore coveralls again, because I wanted to. A junior tech asked, why didn't you fire him earlier? Because failure needs witnesses, I said. Some lessons require an audience. I stepped aboard, powered up the systems. The yacht came alive, controlled, responsive mind. People think revenge is emotional. It isn't, it's architectural. And the final part is what happens when the ocean remembers who built the ship. The ocean doesn't care about titles, it doesn't recognize last names, It only respects preparation. 2 weeks after the incident, we took the Sentinel back out, not for a demo, not for cameras, for validation. A controlled offshore run night. Conditions rougher water than marketing would ever allow. No guests, no investors, just engineers. I stood behind the helm, hands, relaxed eyes on the diagnostics. Marcus called out readings: power draw, nominal stability, green failsafes. Armed, the Sentinel cut through the water like it was remembering itself. Halfway through the run, we simulated failure, total command loss. The exact scenario. Chase had laughed at the lights, dipped, the system paused. Then control rerouted, manual authority restored perfectly. No drama, no heroics, just engineering doing its job. We logged the results, stamped the report, sent it to regulators, insurers, partners. No press release, we didn't need one. A month later, Atlas Marine Labs closed its largest contract to date. Government, long-term, zero tolerance for ego. Chase Beringer's name surfaced once more in a filing. Minor lawsuit, quiet settlement he never went back on. Water. Richard sold his shares, retired, bought a vineyard, posted sunsets. I stayed, same desk, same turtleneck, same principles. People still stop me, sometimes ask if I planned it, if I enjoyed it. I tell them the truth. I didn't design the failsafe for him. I designed it for the moment someone like him showed up, because every system eventually meets a user who believes rules are optional. That's when design matters. The Sentinel now runs missions, real ones, the kind where mistakes don't trend, they kill. And every time I step aboard, I remember the look on his face, not fear, not anger, recognition. Moment he realized the help was the architect. Power doesn't announce itself, it waits. And when it moves, it doesn't ask for permission.